All right, guys, I'll show you what this machine here is doing with the constant beeping. Once I diagnose it, I'll tell you what I found and what the fix is. I'll be back. All right, guys. BLP Jet Ski here. Back at you with this 2001 GTX RFI with the 787 motor in it. I want to share some information with you that's not very clear on the internet about the fuel system on these particular machines. I bought 2 of these non-running. Very good machines. It's just dirty, but it's a freshwater ski. Like I said, it's just dirty right now. I got to clean it all up, and I got some things disassembled just so I could test a bunch of things. So anyhow, got it running. It would fire right up and run. Excuse me, without a problem. And rev out. The screen, the display's not working too well. The gauges aren't working too well. So when I would crank it up, it would crank up immediately, no problems, and then would immediately begin to give me a bunch of beeps. And of course, I looked at the beep codes online, and it was kind of unclear exactly what it was, but I felt like it was the fuel warning indicator, and I'm put the video in here to show you what it did. Like I say, as soon as you crank it up, it would start beeping, and it would just continually beep, short beeps, long beeps. Anyhow, like I said, I tried to find the beep code and what they meant and decipher it all. Anyhow, a lot of folks want the gas gauges and all working on these things, and I understand why. You want everything to be, 100% and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. However, I am a big advocator of making sure that before you ride your ski, that you open up take your seats off, open up the engine cover, and look at everything. Check all your hose clamps, check all your wiring. Just do if you will, a pre-trip inspection on these machines, because the last thing you want is some kind of trouble out there because you neglected to look at things and etc. So I always visually check my fuel level and my oil level on my 2-stroke oil. So I knew that the machine had plenty of fuel in it, and I'll show you that level. The level's right down here. And I knew that was at least a quarter, if not close to 2/3 of a tank. And I knew that the sending unit on this particular machine wasn't working right, because I took it out to test the fuel pump when I was going through everything to make sure that it was working the way it's supposed to. And I noticed that the wooden arm, or the wooden float attached to the metal rod, was not connected. So I originally thought that it was a low voltage alarm, and I do have kind of an older battery, but after testing my stator, after testing my rectifier, and I have an identical machine to it that I've already fixed that I know is 100%, I swapped the rectifier out just to make sure. But I've tested everything, ohmed everything out, the voltage is correct, everything is exactly the way it should. But it would just crank up and beep and beep and beep and beep and not stop. So I looked online trying to find a way to bypass that alarm so I don't get that constant beeping. Everyone says, well, put a new fuel sending unit in it, and that's fine. I could have done that, spend a couple, $200 or $300 trying to save the money. It is an older machine. I find these machines, I fix them up, flip them, work on them and flip them, and some of them I keep to ride, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But trying to figure out how to bypass this thing. So these machines have a 0 to 90 ohm resistance in this sending unit. I know this is a 2001. I know your 951s, some even the same year models have a different sending unit. I think this is kind of an older style, but a 0 to 90, 90 being when the tank is low, and 0 being when the tank is full. And obviously between the two, you'll get different ohms. Tested all that out and was getting nothing, just getting a open loop or OL. And then I know if I join the wires together, I would get 0, which would trick the computer into thinking that it is full. So I found the two wires, traced them out. As you can see, there's two pink wires. It's a solid pink and then a pink and black. And I cut them, and I just went to the computer side and just joined them together. Of course, I got my voltmeter and everything here. I did all the testing and everything was fine. Everything showed 0, like to fool the computer and thinking that the gas gauge or the gas tank is full. And like I said, that's fine with me. A lot of folks won't settle for that. They want the machine 100%, and that's fine. Just for me, like I said, I'm a part-time jet ski enthusiast. I'm not even gonna say a mechanic, but I work on a lot of these machines and I enjoy working on them. So it was definitely a battle for me, or a challenge, to figure it out and get it bypassed. So I'm not done. I just wired them together. Of course, I did any testing before I hooked everything back up and cranked it up. But I'm going to show you now that it's not beeping at all. Like I said, it'll fire right up just like it did before, but it would just continually beep, 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 and the warning light would flash. And now you can hook it up. Fires right up, and now it doesn't beep at all, where before, as soon as you cranked it up, within just a few seconds, within 2 to 3 seconds, it's just beep, beep, beep constantly. A long beep and four short beeps, and then it would kind of alternate. So I thought maybe it was multiple problems, but now that I've basically bypassed the fuel sending unit, then I left my voltmeter on. Told you I was doing some testing. Anyhow, with all that being said, now I know for a fact that that was my problem. It wasn't low voltage. Like I said, I tested all that. So if you run into this particular thing on a machine, maybe this exact one or very close in year model. Like I said, this is an 01 GTX RFI with the 787. Just find your two wires, just like I did here, and I cut them. This is going to the tank, this is going to the MPIM, and I just jumped them. And then of course I took I had the wire harness off. I run some wires and tested everything to make sure it was correct. Everything it was reading 0, which 0 ohms is what the sending unit would be giving the computer if it was full. Like I said, this is a 0 to 90, 0 being full, 9, and although it goes all the way up to 90 as the tank empties out. So basically this is a bypass, just a way to trick the computer and saying, hey, it's on full, and I don't get that obnoxious beep. However, I got the beeps from everything else. So, I could have just disassembled the beeper, and wouldn't have had anything, but I want as much safety stuff there as I can to give me some warning. However, the fuel bypass is not a big deal to me because I visually inspect everything on a regular basis. And so every time before I ride, I make sure to check my fuel, check my oil, check all my fittings, and make sure, even when I put it in the water, I leave it on the trailer for just a few minutes and let it warm up and make sure there's no leaks. So with that being said, I hope this is helpful. I have searched high and low trying to find something that would help me. I found a lot of things telling me how to fix it. And of course I could have bought a new unit, sending unit, and spent the money. I didn't want to do that. So I hope this is helpful to you guys. I ask you to please like, subscribe, and comment on stuff that may be helpful to you. If this is helpful, please do that. And I'll continue to put out more videos in the future, and I put out a handful already. Just a small page. I'm just a part-time jet ski enthusiast. We own several of them. We have some old ones, like say this is a 2001. On a couple of these, on a Kawasaki, Honda, a couple Seadoos, and of course then we have some new skis. We have a 23 RPX 300 and a 24 RPX 325. So we're here's a 260 that I'm fixing for a good friend of mine. So anyhow, just if you like the content, if it helped you, please like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you so much. And like I say, I'll put the other video of when I recorded the beeping and what it was doing beforehand, and then of course this video will follow to show how I fixed it and bypassed it and got things going. So thank you so much.